Okay.
Okay, please explain again.
Okay. So basic toon shader. Let's. I'll do it like this. So everybody I showed it was amazed by how simple it was because this is the whole shader. I can even delete this thing. This is the shader,
Oh,
right?
what?
It's
Really?
yeah, exactly. It's nothing. So let's do make a new scene here.
Wait. What is that? What did you just open?
Didn't you know what that's oh, you're gonna love this. Blender launcher. You don't know this?
No, I don't. What the hell is this? You can
Okay.
run
Let's
multiple versions? Is that it?
yeah, like but also open multiple sets of the same version of Blender, which you can always do. You can always press the launcher file again, but this is very easy.
What?
So I have now here I have 3.4, I press 3.4, it opens 3.4, and it's like a little 2 here, so it
Yeah.
has now 2 times 2.4 open, 3.41 open, but I also have like 3.0 here. I have you can put different versions there. So I have a case cycles, I have the
No.
geometry node simulation one is in here. And every time there's a new version, it gets a little pop up like this new version. Do you want to install it or just leave it? So you have the dailies,
Oh man.
um,
Okay, I gotta look for
experimental
this.
build.
I didn't
It's a
know.
free thing on GitHub. I'll send you the
Awesome.
link.
Thank you.
It's
Now
great.
I feel like a loser. Okay, cool.
Ah,
Awesome.
yes, let's both feel like a loser. For this, you need to work in Eevee. It's just, it's
Oh,
it's
okay. Well,
it's just what works.
it's anyway not
Yeah.
physically based, so it doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't matter, and it's
Yeah.
quick because if I go back to that scene, if I now pan around, here, look at this, it's real time. So
Yeah. Oh my god, this is
uh,
so dope.
playing isn't like it's not fully full time, but real time. But look, it's decent enough. So back to the shader.
Yeah.
We have what you basically need for the basics is you have mesh, you need a Eevee on, and we need to do say ambient occlusion needs to be on. Bloom makes just everything phenomenal in Eevee. Then there is volumetric shadows needs to be on for if you have volumetrics, but put it on. Then there are shadows. This is important. Make these like 4K. It's the highest you can go.
Okay.
It doesn't affect your performance, to be honest. If you have a decent computer, it's fine. I bet that.
Semi decent, but should work.
Okay, good, good. Eevee's the go-to poor man's render engine, so it's nice.
True.
Uh, sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but it is. Um, so I think these are the things that we have to check. Let me check on the other file, for example, ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space, reflections needs to be on. Yeah. The shadows full, I did that. Color management. Yeah, that's one thing. Normally we work in Filmic, general in Blender work with Filmic. But the colors in with toon shading just pop better if you have standards. Yeah, standards. See, because if
Yeah.
you now have Filmic, it looks a little bit washed out.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
nice because you have a broader Filmic is like a log, right? A little
Yeah.
bit. So if you do just crunch it to standard, it looks like this.
Oh,
So
it's like clamped.
basically because
Nice.
you're already in that toon world, like just it doesn't matter. You need to adjust it later very like a lot. It's like just give me the full blown version of it.
Yeah.
Yes, new shader. So first we need a light. And what best works is a point light because that scene that I built is just one light, just a point light, one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing. So what you do now to have the shader, it's like a diffuse, and then the shaded to RGB.
Yeah.
To RGB,
This,
plop it in
this seems to
between.
me like a new node, but maybe I just have never used it.
This one.
Yeah.
No, I don't think this is new. I just generally don't use it.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, cool. And the
For me, it was
colorant.
also like, oh, and the colorant, yeah. And there you can do two things. You can plop in a bunch of colors. So the light, that's what I'm forgetting. It's like it doesn't work the same. The light needs to be pretty strong. Let's say 10,000 watts. See, there you go.
Oh, whoa.
Now you get
Okay.
that spoon thing. And now you decide upon where the fall off is. Now you have a really strong fall off. Like this, it's like it just follows the light directly,
Yeah.
right? And turning this into ease, or yeah, let's say ease, you can make that
A little bit softer.
a
Yeah.
little bit softer. Then, but constant works is better. Then put in another one, and let's say that's darker. And now you can, there's gonna be a band somewhere. Sometimes it's hard to find. It really depends on the geometry as well. Where,
What happens if you layer a subdivision surface on top of Suzanne? Would this become like more detailed, you think?
well, I don't know if oh yeah, like that. Sorry, yeah.
Well,
Doesn't,
no, it doesn't. Never mind.
no, no, it doesn't really matter. Let's see, I think then it's the play of the distance. Yeah, see, now you see that extra color. It's a balance. It's a very finite balance for, like, now we have the three colors. We have the pink, then we have the middle one, and we have the dark one. So this is where no light falls. This is where a little bit light falls. This is where the majority of the light falls.
Yeah, gotcha.
But now this doesn't really work on itself, right? It doesn't, like, it's a cool, neat little trick, but it doesn't work on itself. So let's put Suzanne now in a collection. Okay, and this, I need to see if I can do this from memory. Let's add in a grease pencil, a blank one.
Okay.
And then we add a modifier, which is called outline. Let's see if that's correct, or I just start fumbling around. Oh, line art, that was it. Line arts. There you go. We pick a collection and a material. There's always already a standard material in here, black.
Yeah.
Pick black, and then a collection. So everything that you throw in this collection is gonna get a line art. But you also need a camera for that to work. Otherwise, because it always projects from camera. Okay, let me see if I do this all correctly. Black, GP layer, yeah, there you go. See? So
wow.
now it starts working. You know?
Yeah.
So if I now connect the lock camera to view, see, it generates this immediately. And that's what makes it work, right?
Yeah,
And
got you.
now if I do the subdivision off, you get a completely different result. So the way your model looks like a caveman now. The way your model is really how this kind of works.
Yeah.
The nice thing now is that, for example, the more detail you have, like these are all separate parts, like this is separate, that's separate, like a bunch of things are separate. You just throw it all in the collection and it gets generated line art, right? So that's basically it. So, but I figured out the more, depends on the style you want to do, but the more geometry you put in, you need to be careful if it's getting too cluttered or getting better. It's just a fine balance. So, so that's one thing that I did here, and I just
Yeah.
this shader, the white one, and that one is the same thing, just different color palette. Um, and the one thing you have to be mindful of with this is now it renders like everything from view. If I now unlock my camera and go out, you only see that it gets generated for the camera because that matters, right? It doesn't matter how it looks here. So,
Oh.
um, so that's what it is. The thing is, if I now would render out a sequence, like a sequence of 100 frames, it doesn't really work. It doesn't render it right. So that's because I didn't notice, and they didn't tell me this in the tutorial that I watched. So there was a missing link. You need to have two things. One, the seed pass needs to be on, which
Yeah.
makes sense. It's like a depth pass, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing was that you need to bake your um, uh, line art. So in your grease pencil,
Yeah.
you just like any other, you need to bake your line art.
Oh, got you. Okay.
So because if the camera moves, it needs to bake it in a different way. It needs to calculate that on frame, and that stuff gets just as wrong with grease pencil as if you do a particle simulation, for example. So now it's baked, and now you could render it out as a sequence. Now everything's baked the same because I don't have a
Also, if we had
uh,
a camera animation, it would bake the line art according to the camera animation, right?
yeah. So if I now do this, let's see, let's make it 100 frames. It's easier. Another convert. Here you go. Oh, wait, something is. Okay, let's say we have here. Here's rotation, and we go there. 99. Okay, so we have this. Now, this doesn't work. See, it's like it's baked wrong.
Yeah.
So let's unlock. There we go. So if we go back to the grease pencil, it's clear bake line arts, and then bake. And now we make this phosphor 2. There you go. Now it moves with it.
Very
So, and
cool.
this sells the whole thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like without the line art, it's like just a clunky thing.
Can you
And
decide on the thickness of the line art?
yeah, that was my next point. So if you clear,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. If you clear everything,
Yeah.
then just like with a other simulation, you get
Oh, good.
everything gets released. So this is the line thickness. See, you can make it thinner. This looks a bit nicer in my opinion.
Yeah.
The opacity of it, the color, but also just like with any other thing, you can have you can have interactions. So that means probably now, if I make not probably, this is just what's going to happen. You're gonna laugh so fucking hard if this doesn't work. But material 1, and now I throw this into the grease pencil bin, so into the collection. But it's I need to refresh it probably. Yeah, see, refresh. So it is automatically, but you need to bake it before rendering. So, but now if I say okay, GY move, yeah, it should get like intersections
Oh,
where it
wow.
intersects. But that doesn't work right now. Why is that? Because intersections. I don't know. Let's see.
Overlapping edges as contour?
No, it's not it. Yeah, sometimes you just need to try something and then play, for example, because it needs refreshing.
Okay.
No. Okay, I'll come back on that. See, now it's just sticks, so I need to play and then it's gone. I'll figure that out. I'll let you know. So that's basically that. But then The issue with the rest of this, so that's just the basic toon shading thing. So
Yeah.
what you can do. So all of this is just one light. It's here, yeah, which does all the work. You know,
Crazy.
the rest is just emission. So this same shader but different color scheme, right? Just pushed it a bit different. But then how to do class?
Oh yeah, right.
You know,
There's that. Yeah.
there's that. Yeah, let's see. Some here I got a bit more into some things. Some things here are necessary, some are just fancier. So what I did here in basic terms, let's see if I can isolate how it works. So this also gets line art. So don't have to talk about that. Let me see. This is the noise. Oh yeah, we can ignore this for now. Go and ignore
Wait, but that looked so good.
this for now. Yeah, I know, but then I can explain it better to you what I did.
Okay,
So that's why. So now it's glass, but so I took a transparent
Yeah.
because glass doesn't really exist in this world. So in that way, as we normally would render it. And then I took an emission. I mixed those together where my vector is basically a noise that's getting stretched in the Z in this case. And then I make that Z displays over time with a hashtag frame 80, you know, with a value like that. And what it does is everything is just 100% transparent. There's nothing here, like you don't see anything.
Yeah.
There's the line of the, here you see the line of the grease pencil, but for the rest, there's nothing more. What is there is that noise, which has an emission, and I make that move in a way that looks more or less that it could be a reflection of whatever goes around it. See, so you have that. Because there's more around this, but I put that up because it's a little bit distracting to explain. Let's see, light effects. You want to move that? No, it should be. Maybe it's in the other file. I think so. So there's also like a whole vortex thing around this. I'll open the other file in a bit. So this is basically just this, a noise texture that gets displaced over the rotation of dx.
Yeah.
And that's why you get the sense of that stuff moves, you know. And I mix that within with a transparent, so and use this also as the vector. So everything which is black gets transparent, and everything that's white gets an emission. But that wasn't enough. So what I did then, let's see if I can control Z.
Like that wasn't
this.
good enough. We need more.
No, it wasn't. We need more. So let's see, almost there. Boop, boop, boop. Vector, yeah. So what I did here is I
So good.
mixed in another diffuse, and it's that diffuse gets mixed in with yeah, okay, that's funny. Okay, so I make small little scratches here
Yeah.
with just a noise. Same way, I started to think really simple. I need to have simple shape here, scratches, so I have a noise, displace it with a scale like 200, so it's getting a bit stretched, crunch it with a color ramp. And I mixed in a layer weight, because that was my one thing that I really wanted. I mixed in a layer weight
Yeah.
to get
that.
this Fresnel thing here. And so that's just that little part there, which got pushed in. Yes. So that sells it more as glass. So that's that little, that overlap here, the
Yeah.
gradient. So that really sells it. And that's the only thing that takes a little bit time in render because I've now rendered this one frame. So it needs to do basically just a subdiv and then you're done, right?
Yeah.
It's completed. So so it goes super quick. So yeah, I do render those things, but I don't see them. Where is
Wait,
it?
now that I think about it, when you did post the render and also just now you had these like swirls, light
Yeah,
swirls around. What's
yeah.
what's the secret
I'm getting
sorcery
there
behind
now.
those?
I'm getting there now because I do render them, but I don't see them in my outliner. So I'm trying to force fields, backplates. That's that one. Where's the other one?
Oh,
Why don't I
that's
see
the
it?
background fields.
That's just this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other one is where? Ah, there. Is that one? Let us door? No. No.
Floater energy.
Yeah, it's like the stuff you come up with to name your things. It's
I
interesting.
know.
It's right. Like you know, in like a month after working it, like, oh yeah, well, how does it call? Yeah, it's weird because
But
I
it
if I
makes so
render
much
it, it's there.
sense. Exactly. It makes
Yeah,
so much sense when
see
you're
those
doing
things you
it.
mean like,
Yeah.
yeah, right. See, but where is it in my? I have this like, it's not the lattice. It's not attached to the lattice. It's attached to the camera probably. No, point light. No, why
Oh,
would it?
you think you did you pair this to an empty? No. You pair this to this
No,
plane.
something.
Ah.
It doesn't have a because everything is visible here except this one. It's not in the Shakeify thing. That shouldn't be no. Then I don't have much left. Why is it in my render but not in my
Yeah, it always
strange?
is. It's just
Ah,
it.
Jesus. Let me see if I can open up different version. If that's helpful.
This is really exciting. Thank you.
It was so fun. It was like the morning I figured this out. I no, I the day I figured this out, that morning, if you would have showed me this, I would like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I don't know how that works. Um, so is it then
And then you
here?
do it, right? And then you see
And
that
then
you
you
actually
just
could
make
do it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, well, see, now it's here, but I don't see it here. Wow,
Nice.
it's so frustrating.
No, no, no. It must. Oh,
Um,
is it the? No, it's not the ship mover, right? The ship mover empty is moving the whole ship.
yeah, that's just a collective, but maybe it's there. Force field. Yeah, there you go.
Ah,
Ship
okay,
mover.
cool.
There you go. Thanks.
We
Thanks.
found it.
Found it. So this whole monstrosity is if I go to solid, just this, right?
Oh, you're such a good
Shape.
faker. Good job. Okay, good job.
What? What do you mean? It's just faking it. It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's great. It's so smart.
Yeah. So here you just make a simple shape, however you want the general shape of the energy beam to be. Like, so I wanted the ship to like plow through it, see if
Mm.
that make any sense. And um, so I make that shape, and then again, like this doesn't even do anything. This can go.
You
So
also leave stuff sometimes just in there. Good to
yeah,
know.
it's like in case like I had some idea to do something and then it's like okay, maybe that's cool and then it's like
Yeah.
doesn't work, but it feels awful to just ditch it and then it's like no, I spent so much time on this making it not work, so I keep it um get attached to everything. So here again you have the transparent PSDF and then you have the emission and then you basically drive a noise and you displace that. This is even like you probably don't even need this all separate thing here. If I'm thinking about it now, this probably works just as good here. Is that true? No, you need to go back to a vector. Yeah. So um, no, I could do this easily in this thing. Yeah. See, sometimes things are messy. Um, so I do the location of the streaks and I do the rotation of the streaks, one
Yeah.
over x and the other one as well over x. Sometimes these things are like they change a bit because your mesh is turned upside down or you rotate it, and like it's never where you want it to be. It's like always the wrong axis. Um, so I stretched a bit the noise.
Yeah.
Um, and then I put some color into it. The black is just for the
Transparency.
transparent,
Yeah.
and the rest is for the the
The actual
illuminating
force
part.
field.
Yeah. So um,
So
so
good.
that's basically it. And then you just find a rhythm for that, which is nice to do in Eevee because you can see the rhythm real time, right? It's not that you're like need to render everything out to see how it works because something like this you can't render in a viewport render very easily. So you need to render it out for real in cycles. So
Yeah.
with this, Eevee is great. For the back, it's exactly the same shader, just different pattern of noise and different speed, you know?
Yeah.
So very fast to do this.
Wait,
And
how do you animate that? Is this like some kind
this
of
purple
applied
thing,
formula? Yeah.
this purple, just asking, I'm not making fun or whatever, but you don't know this part
No.
because then I'll explain. So let's say you want to, okay, let's take this so I don't wreck it. Let's put this on 4D, right? So there's
Yeah.
a time element.
Yeah.
You can change now, whatever.
That one I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but then here you can drag a node in, value, which is basically just a value. It's like it doesn't mean anything. It spits something out, right? It doesn't mean shit. It's like now it means 0, and if I say it's
Okay.
1, it means 1. You know. So if I now plug this, for example, in here, see, either it needs to think about it or it needs to have more information. Yeah, I'll just do it like this. It's easier. I'll just plug this into 4D boop of that one. There you go. So now, if I change this, you get a different thing, right? That's normal. That's what you
Yeah.
can do with just. It's the same as sliding here. It just make this into something. You just pull it away from here. It does
Yeah.
the same thing. So what you can do here is hashtag and then frame or the frame number. So it takes the frame number and then you say divide that, or whatever you want to do, but divide is the better choice. Divide that by 10. So it takes the number of the frame, divides by 10, and that's getting updated by frame because on frame 1000 it's like this number, and 1001 is this number.
Wow.
So what you get is a constant movement. See?
That is so
Because it
smart.
keeps
Yeah.
updating that. So, and if you would do 10, it's a certain speed, but if you do like 1000, it's a little bit faster. The thing doesn't represent really well how this works because I think I didn't apply scale to this, and it normally at 1000 is super slow and at 10 is like insanely fast.
Gotcha.
So this thing doesn't behave as it would normally do. But so it's hashtag means that you're gonna put a driver. That's the name. A driver in like hashtag frame, and that's the name of the driver / 1000, and then you divide that by 1000. So it's super slow. So that's how you can basically animate things over time forever. So it doesn't matter if I now say, oh no, but this scene is going to be 5,000 frames. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. This thing's just going to run forever, continuously. So if you want to have things run continuously over time, rotate continuously over time, don't set a keyframe here and there, just set a driver. And you can do this everywhere, right? So if I do this here, hashtag hashtag frame divided by 50, it starts to rotate over time on the x-axis continuously. See? So you
Oh,
can do that anywhere. Yeah.
that's really cool.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, the thing now that would be nice if Blender would do that is if they would in geometry nodes you have a scene time node
Mm-hmm.
and you get either a seconds or frames output. It would be nice if
Mm.
you have that here. Then you don't have to do this anymore, which is still it's fine, but it would be nice if that's like
Would be
everywhere.
more obvious, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's a bit more obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're not used to doing this stuff, then it's like somebody needs to explain it at some point to see to know that it's there. Scene time node is pretty obvious on the cell. So that's what I did here. That's what I did with the back. And in a sense, that's the same as the thrusters. You know,
Yeah.
it has it's just basically a cone that's stretched, and I put like
What did you use? A
a
wave
color
texture?
ramp,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
wave texture. I make that a bit more noisy. Oh no, I make a gradient out of that so that the jet starts pink, then blue, then pink. I also have a soft spot for pink, so you know.
You don't say.
Um, no, I don't. I really do. And then sometimes you need to invert some wave texture because then it's like want to have this bandwidth, like
Yeah.
more, and then invert that. And you could also do that with the color ramp or whatever. I could remove this and just switch the color ramp, but sometimes you just wire it in a way that you plug things after each other. Sometimes you use twice as much nodes as you need, but I don't see why that's an issue. But and here's the same thing. So here I just this thing here, which also like moves. That's the for the what do we say? The thruster floater energy thingy.
Yeah.
That's that thing, and that's just it's again it's just a mesh. It's a circle. I took that. Let me hide that one. It's a bit easy. I took this one, went inside, copied these faces, just you know, shift the
Yeah.
to copy it, and then separate from by selection, and then I enlarged it slightly, made a different shader, which is basically the engine shader. I think it's exactly the same. I just turn it in a different way. I just
Yeah.
make the angle different. So, and then there you go. And I just speed a little bit, that it's less fast or something like that. So that's basically it. Oh yeah, and those thingies, this is just a GeoNode setup. Let's see. So that's a invisible box is parented to the like a yeah like a cube is
Yeah.
parented to the ship because I didn't want to put a specific node system on the ship yet because I have a idea to break the ship in a certain scene, and I want to do that with geonodes, and I want to keep it like convoluted, like less convoluted. So
Got you.
here I just have simple, very simple, just to points on faces, displace those things, and you know, give them a emission and scale it in a way that it feels kind of random.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
that's basically the whole scene. And you see the bloom is really important here. Like without the bloom, it feels flat.
Yeah, it does.
But it really adds like this is without bloom. I mean, it's okay, but it's like this
It's
really
it's so
makes it
funny,
shine.
really. It just, I saw this on Instagram. I was like, what the hell? Like, how did he make this? This looks really, really pretty. And you
Yeah.
know you always make pretty things, right? Like I've never
Yeah.
seen you make something ugly. So
No, no. For me, this is one of the most ugly things that I did in a way. Like the most things I do is like very pretty, very polished, and you know, um,
oh, you don't think
uh,
of this as pretty? I do. It's a very
no,
different
no,
aesthetic.
I
I
do.
agree with
It's
you,
very
but
different. It's pretty, but it's not pretty in the pretty sense. You know, it's not as you would normally regard renders as beautiful. You know, that's normally what I do. I like big ass caustics and glass and products that float and do amazing stuff. And
yeah.
like, I just posted that coral that I did. That's what you
Oh
could
yeah,
consider
the
pretty,
coral.
right? That's pretty.
I
But
mean,
this is
yeah.
pretty in another sense. But it's it's pretty, but it's very different. So and that's why also was very fun to do because with this was this 4 hours of just playing around and just do whatever and just nothing. It always is. It's always nice if nothing depends on anything, right?
Yeah.
If you make something and then I made an art book like years ago. I came into like I had a burnout from I'm a photographer and filmmaker first, and I had a burnout, and then I started to get a bit back into photography again. I was like, oh shit, I don't know if I want to do it anyway. But my wife said, yeah, you need to make something. You need to produce something new for you, you know.
Yeah.
So and then I was like, okay, but nothing should depend on it. And I normally work in beauty industry and fashion, so I couldn't do anything of that. It needed to just me and just fuck around in the studio, you know. Just if I spent there 4 days and didn't produce anything, that should be fine, and that's fine with a free project. But it doesn't completely. It's not completely freeing if you do something, although it's for you. But if it's something that you always do, like beauty photography or really nice renders or whatever, it's not completely freeing because you have a certain standard where you need to uphold yourself to. And if you do something really different, there's no standard. You're new, you know, it doesn't matter. So that's really freeing. So this was that. Not that I had a burnout this time, but it feels like that, like to just be free and make something nice out of it. And if it sucked, I could always say, well, you know, I never do this, so whatever.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
yeah,
Ah,
Oh, woo! Your face is popping up. Okay.
system.
Oh, okay, cool. Because then we
Okay.
can cut out this part, right? And we can
Yeah.
come back to this one.
Exactly. Like, hi, completely different room. So
That's fine.
yeah, this is my Mac, so that works as well. See,
Yeah.
Mac is sometimes just
That was
better.
really exciting. Also, the choral that you made, I was like, I mean, you shared a little bit about that before, right? You were saying that you were testing
Yeah.
out, what was it, Octane render?
No, that wasn't Octane.
Was this with Blender Render Engine?
Yeah, it's Cycles. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit fed up with people that think that Cycles is like this. Like, Blender gets a bad rep about some things. I'm honest.
Clear it
Because
up,
I
clear
think
up the bad rap.
I don't want to be the guy that sounds now knowledgeable because I'm new to all of this in a way. Like I do this like a little less than 2 years. But what I notice is that because Blender is free, which is great, don't change it. But if you change it, fine, I'll pay. I'm dedicated. I don't care. But the thing is, because it's free, it's the first thing that people encounter when they have to make a choice in 3D software.
Yeah.
So what you see a lot from Blender makers is donuts and low poly things. Nothing against it, but that's what we
You want to say
show
anything
to,
against the donuts? Huh?
well, you know.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, maybe a bit, but no, I started with the donut. The donut is your rite of passage, you know? That's what you do. It's like if you say, I want to learn Blender, it's like now I don't say anymore, go do the donut. I point to different stuff. But But the thing is that because the biggest base of Blender users is either just starting or never pushed through.
Yeah. True.
So you have very a big low poly part, which can be very tasteful and artful, but most of it isn't. Then you have donuts and tutorials that you see, like, oh yeah, you have a great Instagram account, but it's 25 tutorials in a row. I can see from who they are, which is it's fine in its own right. It does its place, but it's like that's how the rest of the 3D community perceives the Blender community.
Yeah.
But then there's people like there's a company in Switzerland called Le Truc, and there's a guy working there, Albin Merla. I probably butcher his name, but they produce. I asked him several times, "Do you use Houdini?" No. We just use geometry nodes. Okay, but you render in like Redshift or in Octane? No, it's all cycles. I asked them 5 times. I was like, dude, you're not lying. They really yes, it's cycles, and cycles can look incredible, really incredible, so powerful. But what we see in general is donuts and AK-47s and dragons, because that's Blender community on average. And I think that changes, but I don't know.
This is actually fairly interesting because I come from like a little bit of, like a little different angle where, I meet a lot of fashion designers who are just like shifting towards digital fashion. And so they're trying to only stay in Clo 3D, right? Including like doing the renders. And then it looks like somewhat, not as high quality because, well, there's a limitation to what a Clo can do in terms of rendering, right? But the other problem is materials. So a lot of people use for materials, I want to say, just the library, or they input like an image texture. That's it, right?
Yeah.
And so when I don't know if you saw this, but I think we posted this yesterday. It was just like an additional part of my collection, and I'm trying to finally release this year. It's honestly, it's just a private thing that I've been working on forever, I feel, and now I'm just doing it, right? I stop overthinking. And so people started asking me about the pants and the rhinestone chains, right?
Yeah.
They are like, wow, they are shimmering so nice. Like, isn't this like super heavy in geometry? I'm like, no, it's a substance texture. And they're like, what? This cannot be a substance texture. It looks like rhinestones. And I'm like, yeah, you can make that in substance, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, for them, it's like,
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's sometimes it annoys me a little, the rep that Blender gets in that way.
Yeah, but you're one of those people who are pushing the boundaries, right? Like the coral, the I want to call it organic glass. It just looks out of this world, right? Like it's very like I would not assume like that. And I think I've pushed quite beyond boundaries with Blender cycles, but because I am a true believer in cycles, I want to say 97% of everything I render is in cycles.
Yeah, me too. Like the first thing I ever rendered. Well, I tried Octane for a bit.
You did?
Couldn't get used to it. I couldn't get over how lighting worked in Octane, that you need to do a light with, like, if you want to have a spotlight, you need to get into the nodes and make it into a spotlight. I just like, no, I want to have, like, why doesn't have this? Like, it's so easy. Have it have this. Why is everything a plane light? Why is everything an area light? I couldn't get used to that as much, and it was a hassle to get it working, and it worked, but I couldn't get used to it.
I had the same thing with Houdini. I think I understand where you're coming from. I was thinking I should learn Houdini, all the nice class simulations that I could do. And now with geometry nodes just getting better on an exponential curve, right? I'm like, oh, you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe I don't even bother about Houdini, especially because without having a full license, you cannot export anything from there.
I
So,
do have a full license, as in the indie version. I think you can basically do anything with it what you need.
okay.
Which was like, people were always like, "No, it's so too expensive. You can't like." But the indie version, it's fine. It's like four. I paid like 400 for 2 years. It's like that's not,
Yeah, that's not bad. I
you
didn't even
know.
know. Okay. The last
Yeah,
time
that's
I
fine.
checked, it was like 800 something. And I was like,
I think it's
I don't know.
pretty new though. It's like a year or something, or 2 years that they have that. But it's
Okay.
like, I don't know. I'm in this weird thing where the stuff that I want to make and that I make for clients fits really well with the work, the way how you would work in Cinema 4D or Houdini. You know, that's kind of what other people do, what they make.
Yeah.
Luxury industry, that kind of stuff. But I I just got hooked on Blender and its community. Like everything from the beginning was basically go Cinema 4D. It's like learn
Yeah.
that. But I didn't want to pay for anything when I was still figuring it out. Like, do I like this even? Is this something that I want to do? So somebody recommended Blender, and then at some point I got so invested in it. I was like, no, I'm gonna prove you that it can be done in Blender, and that Cycle's gonna be is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, some things it's not great for example, for caustics or whatever. But nothing is great for caustics. Caustics is a problem on its own. But there's
Caustics.
workarounds. I just did a
Also,
thing where
they
yeah,
just integrated something new for caustics. I don't know. Someone made a video on this. I recently watched it. It's actually a new.
was it the Derek Elliott thing?
Yeah, I think so. It's like the
Yeah,
glass
that
on the
was
cube. And it actually looks. I mean, come on. Like, how many of us really give a shit how glass on a cube looks like, right? Like how, like
yeah,
unless
me
you're.
does.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fine.
I care.
No, but this is
No, but
also because
I
you're a
get it.
photographer, I think.
Yeah, no,
But
but I
in
get
a
it. But
bigger
it's like it's
scene,
such a small thing. It's such a small thing. You can so
yeah,
work around it easily. But I did a bunch of workarounds. You can use gobos in Blender very easily. Which no, it's not real caustics, but you know, gets the job done most of the time. Then I made my own gobos for a job I did for a client where we had this nice bottle,
yeah.
but we couldn't work that. We couldn't render out those real caustics. It just wasn't feasible for that thing. It would take too long. So I rendered out one still image of one, like a top shot, like top view render of everything black, but just one caustic frame in LuxCore. LuxCore is phenomenal when it comes to caustics. It really is. I just did a bunch of caustics videos and tests, and I don't know if you saw those, but Jesus, and it's people are complaining LuxCore is very very slow, but it wasn't that bad. It was like 30, and it's all CPU, so it's slow, but it was like 35 seconds a frame. It was all fine.
That's a fine speed.
That's really fine. Sometimes I did like 10, 15 minute a frame, and I have two 3090s, you know, because I really pushed the
My
glass very hard
goodness,
with cycles.
do I
But when it's
envy
worth
you?
it, it's like it's a frustration. Then somebody works for months on a project, for months, and then they want to render it out in like 2 days, like or an hour. Like, oh no, they better do 250 samples. No, just cram that thing in. Just make it work. You need
Yeah.
to render it out. It deserves to be rendered properly. You worked on it forever,
I
and
think
now
you
you
should become my quality control. Like I feel like if
I'm a
you're
good
quality
quality
control,
controller.
then like everything would just be perfect. But I would probably never get there. God.
No, it's fun for me. It's I don't know, quality. I don't get. It's the final thing. It's like the veneer on your painting. It just makes everything alive, and it's bigger than that. It's like the painting doesn't exist without the rendering phase. You know, so take your time. It's like just like cycles out of the box is great, but you can push your transparent and your
The light path.
transmission
Yeah.
bounces, and I upped them by till like 32 sometimes, and it's a slight difference, but it's a difference. And for the whole thing, it's like sometimes people say like, "Oh, it looks so slick, it can't be cycled." Yeah, it is, but you need to push it where you want it to be. So, and LuxScore, for example, the caustics. See, I can show you.
Oh,
So-
right. I remember.
This, for example.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, this looks
I don't know. This is I don't know. This took me an hour to render,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, it's not
It could be
bad.
better. Production-wise, it could be better. Like
Yeah. Always.
more.
We would
But
always
so
love to
if
have.
it was for a production, I would try to push it more.
Yeah.
Like towards like render out. Just do it for the day. You know.
Yeah.
Just render out the whole day or overnight and see what's there. But sometimes things don't get better with more samples. It just get worse. You get more noise. See, like this was a bit more samples. Start to flicker very weird because I made a mistake in the material. Like this,
Oh wow.
you know. This is not. Yeah, just the flicker was a mistake in the material, so that shouldn't happen.
I didn't even see a flicker.
Yeah, see in the bottom, it's like
Oh,
boop, boop,
okay.
boop, 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 it flickers.
But it looks like an
um,
energy release, so it's well. That's pretty dope.
You know, so and this is all Blender, but then LuxScore also free. So, you know, and it's one of the best caustics you can do. Yeah, it's let's stop this stream. There you go.
Let's stop the trip
It's better.
stream.
Yeah, so you can push it really far, I think, and sometimes it just gets a bad rep from all the. I like some of those. How do you call those things where we have the camera in a certain angle and you see a little room, all cute stuff,
Oh,
like kittens and bakeries.
I know. This is like the.
I always want to say anamorphic, but it's not that.
No, it's how is this called? No,
It's a
not
whole
Ico.
thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I know exactly what you mean. It's like
Yeah,
all
but
the
it's-
stuff that Polygon Runway, for example, makes, right? It's like
Yeah.
these rooms that are in this specific perspective, and then
Yeah.
they're like have two walls. Two walls are not there, and then you just
Yeah, and then you see a little bit topside view, and then they fill it with mostly cute stuff. It's like origami stuff. So, you know, which is all nice, but that's how the rest of the 3D world sees Blender. You know,
Yeah.
that's like a lot of them at least. Like I see a lot of difference, even with my short time in 3D and Blender. Like it's insane. I started doing this program. It's awful when you need to look at the clock to know what month it is. It's now February, almost March. So that means I'm now 1.5 years into doing 3D at all.
Yeah.
And I saw rendering go from 1 minute a frame to 10 seconds a frame within a month within Blender. So GeoNode's barely, I don't know if it even was implemented already, like fully. I don't think so.
I think also it's still also a part that people are very scared, right? So especially like my fashion people, I think they're very afraid of the whole node system. Like shader nodes to them is like, why?
Yeah,
Right?
you just want to slap it on and
Yeah.
be done with it. Yeah.
Exactly. So once they get there and they do it, they're like, damn, like this is
Yeah.
like this
Nice.
kind of stuff I can make in here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then if you
But
know,
I was the same, when I started doing stuff. I just slapped materials out of Blender kits, I think, and just slapped it on something
Yeah.
I made. And I made the vow that I just would collect stuff and just put it in scenes and then make it like that. And I was like, no.
append.
Yeah, just Just append everything, download models, buy it. If you don't, like, I'm not a good modeler at all. Like that's we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Like that you made this flower, and I was like, it looks amazing. I couldn't do that because it's not a modeler. And I also think that there's some strengths you need to benefit, and some that you just need to hire other people or whatever. So I
Yeah,
don't.
modeling and making substance materials is for me the most zen stuff you can ask me to do.
Oh, I can imagine. I really can imagine modeling. When I did model myself, sometimes I found it very fulfilling because it's like you're just molding, you know? But
Yeah.
then if you don't know how to model properly like I do, then at some point you're molding and like, fuck, I don't have any clay anymore, but I still need to go. And it's like, it gets a mess and it's like angles everywhere and it's shitty.
I'm really bad at
Um,
sculpting. Sculpting makes me like, it's like, these goosebumps that give you like
yeah, the
chills.
shivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shivers. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I know,
me.
I
Like
get that.
as soon as I see I have to go from modeling to sculpting to achieve this in a smart way, I'm like, oh, maybe I should just ditch the whole concept. Who
Yeah,
needs this
maybe
anymore?
maybe
10
just
hours
think
for
of something more
waste.
solid. Yeah, maybe do a spaceship instead. It's better.
Exactly.
No, I get that. I get that. There's some things that I do, but I always say no. That's not for me. And then I literally said remember like 4 months before I started doing 3D. It's like I told somebody like I would never touch 3D with a 6 foot pole. I wouldn't do that because it's too intense, it's too much,
Yeah.
it's too difficult. I knew that much, but and then I say, okay, I'm not gonna model. Okay, I'm not gonna do. Like, I'm not gonna everything that I say I'm not gonna do. Probably within a year, I'll be pretty sufficient. So just like GeoNodes, GeoNodes annoys the crap out of me. It's like it's so annoying. Um,
You should have
so
joined our spontaneous session at BlenderCon. We didn't get into one of the presentations and then we just camped out in front. Like, I don't know who was it, but someone just pulled out their laptop and we were like, hey, let's try and solve this. Right? And we
yeah,
just made a spontaneous geometry node session. And yeah, I'm not having a super easy time wrapping my head around it. It's like, to some people, like, I don't know, what's his name? CG Matter? Like,
yeah.
it comes so easy to him because he's so good
Uh,
at math, right?
Annoying.
It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, of course, you put a
Yeah,
float
just
and this is an
multiply this
integer.
by the fraction of pi. What the fuck are you talking
Yeah, or
about? I
dot
don't know what you
product. And I'm
mean.
like, wait, let me first look up what even is a dot product. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. No, I agree.
No,
But
but
slowly,
it's fun.
last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks, I'm starting to like things like just fall into place. Like I made a coral. There's one shot in there where the coral starts to basically spawn particles from
Yeah,
it. That's a simulation node branch that I did, which just yeah, it just worked. It just clicked together and it works. But
nice.
it's like again the artist Albin Marle. I'll put you in. I'll send you his link. That guy, what he does with geonodes, it's unfathomable. It's unbelievable. He makes that stuff look Houdini, and he works for that production company in Switzerland, and it's incredible. And the nice thing is, and this is why I love the Blender community. Then he takes all those files, put it on his Dropbox, and says, "Good luck, take it, whatever, do as you want."
Yeah,
And the
please
guy has
send me
like
the link.
yeah, I'll do because he just like here,
I
just
want to
play with
learn.
it, use it,
Yeah,
you do whatever you want with it. And then if I don't understand anything, but I'm that kind of person that just then asks, it's like I'll send him a message and say, okay, I don't understand. He just gives me a little pointer, like
yeah,
go, look at that, and then But that's really what made me fall for Blender. It's like the
the
first time I
nerd.
went to the Blender artist forum, I never go there ever anymore. It's not because I don't like it, but it's just there's no use. But when I did there in the beginning, I was like, I need to find something, and people were like, "Oh, here's my file." What? Are you giving away files for the solution? Okay, fine. It must be something wrong with that person, but okay, let's see. Hope it's not a
Until
virus.
you become that person.
And then you become that person, and then I didn't know what Discord was. That's how disconnected I am from this whole thing. But I didn't know what Discord was, and then some random dude on Instagram invited me to his Discord server. He's like, yeah, we have a small little community with like 40 people, and you should join, it's fun. And I'm like, okay, I really didn't know what Discord was. I thought it was his thing. I don't know. So I downloaded Discord. I discovered what it was. I get onto the server. I saw there was like a Blender help little thing. So I type a problem,
Yeah.
and 3 guys invite me into a call, and they hashed it out over 3 hours with my problem. They didn't know me. And I was already like, oh, fuck it, I'm done with this. In 2 hours, I come back and they're still working on the problem.
Yeah.
And then they gave me the solution. And 2 weeks later, I come back and the guy basically rebuilt my scene to figure out again how that all worked. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck? What is wrong with these people? But they just eat problems. They love
Yeah.
it. And because of the Blender spirit that's in that community, they just give it away. They don't care. Yeah. So, and then you do the same thing.
I think
So,
I have to say goodbye now because another meeting
Yeah, me
already
too.
started. But this was so
so
good, and
it's
thank you
little
so
work.
much for explaining this to me. And I will send you the link for the recording in case you want to put it somewhere or extract something from it, because you did also a really good job at explaining it. So maybe others
Thanks.
would be interested.
Yeah. See. Yeah, send me. It's fun to see. And I'll send you that link on Instagram from the artist. It's
Thank you.
really worth checking out. Have a good day.
You too.
And
Don't get too
talk to you
annoyed
soon.
anymore. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah. No, I feel better. I feel better than before the call. So that's good. That's good.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.